So what power does Northview Rising have to win participatory budgeting? And if you don't have it, how can you get it? Let's take a look. First of all, when we say power, we're talking about voter power. We're talking about people power. So how many people in Northview at this very moment support participatory budgeting? We don't really know. We have a small group of people. A safe estimate right now is somewhere between 10 and 15, but we don't actually have a record of that. Is that enough power? Probably not. How much power and how many voters does it take to get city commission candidates to listen? So in this city commission election in 2019, keep in mind we have 3 open seats and there are 8 candidates. Let's look at the last city commission election. In 2017, there were 35,000 roughly registered voters. Of those 35,000, 8,000 actually voted. And all of those ballots, on all of those ballots, there were 3 votes per ballot because there were 3 open seats. So how did those votes break down by the candidates? Here was a list of all the candidates. The winners are in green. Lucia Reddy got about 4,000, Wynn Butler got about 3,000, Jared McKee got about 2,500. And the 4th place person, Brian Thomason, got about 2,300. Interesting here, the difference between number 3 and number 4. What was that margin? Really small. It was about 266 votes. If I'm a city commission candidate, I'm thinking that 266 votes can be very influential. That was in 2017, where there were 6 candidates. In 2019, this year, on November 5th, there's going to be 8 candidates, plus possibly some write-in candidates. So it's going to be even more competitive. It would probably take even less votes to be pretty persuasive here as well. So the takeaway might be to say 200 people voting based on the participatory budgeting issue could be very persuasive. So what did voting look like in Northview in 2017? Well, there were roughly 4,000 registered voters in Northview, and this is a map of Northview. So how many ballots were cast in each of those different wards and precincts? So in Ward 2, Precinct 3, this is the green one right here, there were 271 ballots. In Ward 2, Precinct 4, the blue one, there were 140 ballots. In Ward 8, Precinct 3, which is this purple one, there were 46 ballots. A couple of takeaways. Northview has enough voters to be very persuasive. There are almost 4,000 registered voters, give or take, in Northview. There's also an enormous potential to engage registered voters who didn't vote in 2017. 85% of them, in fact. And also, if we wanted to do some targeted outreach, you might say that this ward and precinct here seems to have quite a bit of voters here. They're already active, and maybe they can be persuaded to vote based on where candidates stand on participatory budgeting. So the next question is, how can Northview build that kind of power? How can Northview get 200 unique participatory budgeting issue voters? That is, people who are going to vote for city commission candidates, at least in part, if not completely based on where they stand on participatory budgeting. Now, let's keep in mind we have 6 weeks until the November 6th election. We've already put together a strategy. We've talked about different tactics and different activities that we can do to help build this support. But when we dig down in, exactly how many votes do you think we can actually expect from those different things that we're doing? Okay, we talked about phone banking. We have a contact list. On our contact list for Northview Rising, there are 156 people. Let's assume we call everybody on that list, and not everybody is going to be supportive of participatory budgeting. If conservatively we said 25% of people are going to be participatory budgeting issue voters, that would be 39. Okay, so that's not 200. So there's plenty of more stuff that we have. What if we also sent out a weekly email to all of those contacts as well? Well, maybe we could pick up another 5, let's say. What if we also went out and talked to new people and asked them if they support participatory budgeting and get them engaged? Now, if we did that one night a week for 6 weeks, and we had 4 canvassers per night going out in pairs, and for 1 hour a night, and gave out on average maybe 50 flyers per that hour, and had a total of 20 conversations per night, 10 conversations per pair, and 50% of the people that were talked to said, yes, I support participatory budgeting, I'm a registered voter, and I'm going to vote based on where candidates stand on participatory budgeting. If we do all of that for the next 6 weeks, we get another 50 votes. Okay, not there yet. What else do we got? Well, if we also did some media work, this was in our strategy chart as well. Well, we have a Facebook group. If we did one post per week within our Facebook group, which is just people who live in Northview, and we do that for the next 6 weeks, maybe we can get 10 of those people who aren't already on board. So these would be unique voters, right? Different from all of the other strategies here that we're using. What if we also did, as many people as possible, shared those social media posts about participatory budgeting, about the elections, and showing up and sharing information from the People's Forum on which candidates support participatory budgeting? Maybe we can get like 10 more voters out of that. Okay, still not there. What if we did a press release and sent it out to the Mercury, the Collegian, and K-Man? Okay, got some big audiences there. It's still not the same as having a face-to-face conversation, but it might be provocative enough to get 10 more unique voters. What if we also wrote letters to the editor, to the Mercury, and over the next 6 weeks, if we did one of those every 2 weeks and had a different person write one every 2 weeks, maybe we could reach enough people, not just in Northview, but across the community, that we could say, well, maybe there's 10 more people out there who might vote based on this idea of participatory budgeting. It's so exciting. It's exciting enough that somebody's going to say, man, I really want to vote for candidates who support participatory budgeting. Now, we also have the People's Forum coming up on October 10th. Now, the People's Forum, there are going to be all kinds of people in that room at this candidate forum who aren't from Northview, who maybe have never heard of participatory budgeting before, who in that room, when they hear about it for the first time, might say, man, that's one thing that I'm going to be considering, if not the main thing that I'm going to be considering when I vote for a city commissioner on November 5th. So if we said maybe we could get 10 people out of the People's Forum to vote based on that, we got 10 more. There's also going to be media there at that event, at the People's Forum, the Collegian, probably the Mercury, maybe K-Man, and some others who may spread the word about participatory budgeting, and maybe we can get 5 more votes from that. Okay, still not there, but what if we also did a K-Man interview? We've had people in Northview Rising do this before. Kyle's done it before. I've done it before. A number of people have done it before. And talking about participatory budgeting. Okay, 10, 20 minutes on K-Man. We have a very good relationship with K-Man and could probably get on there. And if we get that message out to all the listeners on K-Man, maybe we can get 5 more. Okay, still not there yet, but we also talked about all of the other people in the community who might care about participatory budgeting, and what if we did some outreach to them, these constituents and allies? Well, somebody mentioned the Northview School Site Councils. What if we went and met with them to tell them about participatory budgeting, also brought some flyers with us, and then those people in that room, plus possibly some others that the site council members might talk to themselves, maybe we could get another 5 voters out of that. Somebody also mentioned talking to the PTAs in Northview. What if we went to their meetings, met with them, also brought a flyer, told them about participatory budgeting? They might have even told some of their friends about it, and maybe we could pick up another 5 that way. What if we also talked to the Northview businesses? Maybe the businesses in Northview have a stake in this as well, participatory budgeting, and we went and met with them individually or in a group, also brought a flyer. We told them about participatory budgeting. They talked to their friends about participatory budgeting. Maybe we get another 5 out of that. We also talked about talking to other organizations in the community who might also care about participatory budgeting. So Bike Walk MHK is a bike and pedestrian advocacy group in Manhattan. Ron Orchard is a Northview resident who also organizes with Bike Walk MHK. What if we met with Bike Walk MHK, told them about participatory budgeting, and got them to share that information with their members, and got some people excited about it and care enough about it to vote on it in November? Maybe we could get another 5. What if we did the same thing with the Manhattan Alliance for Peace and Justice, their chair, John and Lou Johnstone? And we also have an email list of about 15 other neighborhood associations in Manhattan with names, phone numbers, and emails. And you could click on this link here to see who those are. What if somebody volunteered to call all of those, all of the people on that contact list to tell them about participatory budgeting, maybe even go to one of their meetings to tell them about it, brought a flyer, maybe we could get another 5 people in support of participatory budgeting. So if we did all of that, if you just add it up, if you do the math, that's 188 votes. The point is that we can do this, but it takes a lot of work. And so we need some volunteers. So I will send out the sign-up sheet where you can actually put your name next to some of these activities. And I'll also send out a quick survey to help us identify some nights over the next few weeks where we can go out and do some more canvassing together. Because canvassing is obviously a place where we can get probably the biggest bang for our buck. So that's what power we have. That's what power we could have if we did these things, and how we can win participatory budgeting.